from boots on the ground to tank combat and to air combat. Let's dive in. Alright, the first one is the menu. The menu needs some work. When you first boot up the game, you get the bulletin board, and then you scroll down and you get the featured and then the training grounds, which moving side to side, scrolling up and down is a little bit too much. If there's a search feature that you can search for a specific game mode when more game modes come out into the launch of Battlefield 6, then it will be a lot more better. And although this is just a beta, so you won't have the search mode, the search function, because it's the beta and you get so little many things in the beta. But the menu going side to side from play, loadouts, challenges to settings is alright, but they need to add the search function when the full game launches, because no one wants to, search, scroll down, search left and right, because that's going to get annoying and people are not going to like it, and it's going to get a lot of bad reviews. Now, if we went back to the old classic Battlefield 4 menu, as I show you up on screen, you have all those. It's a little bit more easier to get to things because you have the campaign, multiplayer, and my soldier, and a little bit more like settings. A little more to it, a little more easier instead of more complex, I should say, because going through scrolling things is not the best. But if you go to multiplayer, you get more side menus, like more basic menus like Battlefield 4 has, and you can have a little more easier time searching for game modes because you have just a list on the side going up and down, and you don't have to scroll from left to right. So the menu for Battlefield 6 open beta is alright. Let's just hope they can change it throughout the time so it's not complex or compacted enough. But when you load up into the game, it's all right. It's the lobby. You open up a game, you search for it, you wait in a lobby with your teammates. The right side you have your notifications, your friends list. It's a little bit more open. Everything is on the side, but the downside is it looks complex. So alright, next thing. Alright, the next thing we have is the gunsmith and weapon selection. First things off is the weapon selection. We're going to talk about just a little bit. The weapon selection is alright. I like it how you can see all different categories of assault rifles, carbines, SMGs, LMGs, and DMRs, assault rifles, and shotguns. But there's going to be a lot more weapons adding to Battlefield when it launches on October 10th. We're expected to get 40 weapons at launch, which is amazing. The last game that had 40 weapons at launch might be Battlefield 4, but not really sure. Comment down below if I'm correct on that. But the gunsmith selection, when you view all your attachments on your weapon, is a little bit too complex. Also, when you boot up the firing range, it should be a lot more better. So you can access the settings, change the controls a little bit more. But since we can't do that in the firing range, then they need to fix it so we're not exiting out, going back in, and going back and forth between that stuff. I wish we can go back to the classic gunsmith from Battlefield 4. I'll have an image up on screen so you can see. It's a little more easier, a little more easy to access. So if we can go back to that gunsmith in the near future, if they decide, then it will be a lot more better for all the players. I know some players like the gunsmith in Battlefield 6, but for some people it's not working for them, which is alright. But other than that, everything is alright in the gunsmith. It's just the firing range needs a little bit more work, needs to be accessible to settings, and that's all I have for the gunsmith. And the weapon selection, I feel like we should have had a second sniper or a second shotgun we can try out. That's all I would say, although all the other weapon sections are alright. The LMGs are alright because you get 2, the DMRs you get probably 1 or 2, you know, the assault rifles is a big deal. SMGs, I feel like we could have a better selection, but although it's alright, so yes, the gunsmith is alright. So there's a few cons to it, pros and cons to the gunsmith and the firing range. So that's how I'll leave it right there for it. So now let's move on to the third thing in the video. Alright, the third thing we have on the video is tank combat. Tank vehicle combat in Battlefield is always fun to do, but it's also a little bit clanky and needs some work with it, which I don't have any pros. I don't have any bad things about the vehicle combat. The tank combat is always fun, it's unique, and it's amazing. Although the reload speed when you switch to the big gun to bring out that big missile is a little bit slow, and I feel like the speed of reloading that should be a lot more quicker or just a tad bit faster instead of just switching back and forth to get that weapon loaded. But other than that, I love the tank combat. It's so fun to do. It's a little bit like all the other Battlefield games where you have fun with the vehicle combat, but there's always issues to it. The issues I have with the vehicle combat, especially the tanks, it's not easy to maneuver in some areas of different parts of the map. It's a little bit more, it would be like crowded or, you know, a little open. If it's an open map, it's a lot more easier. If it's a crowded map, it's not going to be easier to maneuver because you get those holes where the explosions, you know, create, and craters, buildings falling down, people like behind you, or broken down buses or cars behind you, and it's a little bit too much. But you know, the tank combat has a little bit of issue, but it's also fun to play, so there's not much I could talk about vehicle combat. There are some vehicles out there that are a little bit weird to have in Battlefield 6, like the one vehicles that have a gun on top and you have a driver. It's not the best because people are going more for the tanks, the jets, and the helicopters, and we will talk about more with the jets and the helicopters soon. But here the tanks in this game are amazing. There's not much, you know, we can change about it. They might change little bits here and there with the tanks to make it more better and more, you know, more easier to reload on some of the ammo with the tank. But yes, the tanks are fun and amazing. There's just two cons about it, but mostly it's fun, awesome, amazing, and also there are some tanks on the map, and there might be a little bit of a downside to it. There's a tank that deals with anti-air tank that deals with air vehicles, and that's a little bit more, you know, not meant for ground maybe. but they might change it as time goes on to the anti-air tanks, which if they did change it, then that would suck. But the spawns for tanks on that doesn't go with with your group, you have to find on the map, was a little bit more interesting because you could have had a regular tank as you see on the screen in the gameplay in the background, and then you have an option to play anti-air tank, but looking for it on the map, who's going to do it first is a little bit of a downside, because that gives you or the enemy the advantage to get it first, because they got those fast vehicles where they go just rush to it, grab it, try to kill you or your team, and doesn't make any sense to have that. Maybe second slots or something could be better. So it could be better. Have 2 slots for tanks, anti-air and regular tank. But although it's a lot of fun and everything. So, but the maps are, we're gonna talk about maps later on. But I'm just saying, maneuvering with a tank on different maps is probably a downside, because some maps are crowded, like I said before, and some maps are open and easy to maneuver, and some are hard to maneuver and you have to go all the way around the map and such more things. So alright, well that's it for the little bit more of a tank situation here. Now let's go over to the fourth thing. The other thing, not the fourth thing, but the other thing in the vehicle section of this video is the jets. Alright, with the flying combat with the jets and the helicopters is a little bit more complex, and the jets camera is alright. It's way better than the helicopter. The helicopter configuration, flying combat thing. It's just the camera do need some work. Sadly, I didn't even get any helicopter gameplay in. As you can see, I didn't get any helicopter gameplay to show you guys how difficult it is. But when week 2 starts up on the 14th, on a Thursday, I'll make sure I'll get some helicopter gameplay to show you guys, because I swear I caught some on camera during the live stream. But let's dive into the air combat, as we are saying vehicle, more tanks. But with the helicopter camera rotation thing, it does need some work. Probably like a whole bunch of work, I should say. The only pro is we have a helicopter in the game, you know, that people can test fly and do things with. But I wish we have a training section where you can go into the map with bots and such and practice helicopter combat and with the bots, so you're not versing real players and you're not, you know, dying 5 minutes or 2 to 3 minutes in when you're in the air with a helicopter. A jet, you don't get down unless you do a barrel roll in a jet or do some crazy maneuvering, you know, just like Top Gun in their movies. But it's, yeah, the helicopter combat is a little bit more upsetting, and the camera work does need to be a little bit more better. I have nothing else to say about the helicopter, but the camera work does need to be better. That's a big major problem in the game right now. Jets are all right. Um, it's it needs to take some used to flying them, but jets are way better to maneuver than helicopters. Helicopters in this game is a little more complex and more not so great. So sadly, I have nothing else to say about the helicopters because I think I deleted all the footage from me flying in the helicopter because I keep on crashing because it's so complex and there's so much you got to do with the helicopter in this game. And so sadly, the helicopter does need some work, but obviously it's the beta and they will change it over time when the full game launches on October 10th. So that's it I have for you guys about the air combat. It's good, but it needs so much work to it. So yeah. All right, the fourth thing I want to talk about is the new stuff. So let's go over and talk about the new stuff that's coming in week 2 of the beta. Alright, for week 2 of the beta, everything that is to be expected coming in week 2 of the open beta for Battlefield 6 is we're going to get 2 new modes and plus a new map. And it's unclear if it's going to be in all modes or just one mode or in 2 modes. But here is everything that's coming in week 2. We're going to get 2 new game modes like Rush and Squad Deathmatch, plus a new map called Empire State Map. So those are the 2 new modes and the new map that's coming to it of week 2. There's also going to be some new challenges I'll show up on screen as well. We're going to be getting new challenges and rewards. The new challenges will be capture 42 flags in Conquest, Domination or King of the Hill, War Machine vehicle skin you will get. Also the second challenge is get 200 kills or assist, and then you will earn Bat Company dog tag. The third challenge is capture 10 sectors in Breakthrough or Rush, and you will get a reward of Dominant weapon package. So that is the 3 new challenges. There might be more along the way. But we have a new infantry only map that's coming to week 2, and I'll put up on screen. It says players will be able to play on the Empire State map, although it's only for the infantry class. Still, having a new area to play through should spice things up, giving players to taste of what's coming in the base game. So that is everything coming in week 2 of the beta on Thursday the 14th. It's unclear if we're going to be getting more challenges coming, or modes be taking out, and then putting the 2 new modes in as we just saw. But so don't uninstall the beta. That's what they are saying, because if you uninstall the beta, that means you probably won't get the new stuff or something like that. But they just say don't install the beta, keep the beta installed, and when week 2 is over, you can uninstall the beta and then download the base game when it launches on October 10th. So that's all the new stuff that's coming in week 2, Rush and Squad Deathmatch, and a new map called the Empire State Map. It's it looks like we're gonna have a small update for the open beta. There are some issues that they are working on that people are experiencing. Crashing is a common one, and so much more. So that's it I have for you today in the open beta review. There's some pros and there's some cons, and there's also new stuff coming in weekend 2, and some changes to it, and a new map it looks like. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Smash a like on the video and subscribe if you want more videos just like this in the near future, and go ahead over to my Patreon that I just launched, to all 3 of my channels that will be integrated into Patreon, and have some exclusive videos there, and some crazy videos, and some new videos as well, such as TV and movies reaction that will be coming soon to Patreon and YouTube. So glad that you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And let me know down in the comments, how did you feel about week 1 of the open beta, and how are you feeling about starting back up again on week 2 of the open beta of Battlefield 6. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and thanks for watching.